Welcome to the FB Ads Summit, where you get to discover how to create highly converting Facebook ads and start generating leads. I'm your host, Susanna Cobo, Facebook ad strategist and digital producer. And on the summit today, I have Tucker Ferretta with us. And Tucker is a local Facebook ads expert, and he took on marketing and Facebook ads after spending his time working in a warehouse for Frito-Lay and listening to business podcasts in the back of 53-foot trucks. And then at the age of 24, he hosted his own marketing mastermind for international business owners, where he taught them how to grow their business with social media. Now he builds local businesses from the ground up with Facebook ads and has also been featured on popular Facebook ads channels like Dan Henry. And so he's also most known for his case study for having spent $212 to make a struggling child care center $3,300 in monthly revenue. So without more ado, I'd love to introduce you to Tucker. Tucker, welcome to the FB Ads Summit. How are you?
Good, Susanna. I am just, oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here. I am excited that you put this thing together, and I've just been super excited for like a month or so. So this is awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's been super cool. It's been fun to talk to everybody and really dive into pick their brains. It's so awesome.
I bet.
So thanks for being here, and I'm so happy to have you here because today's interview is going to be super important for ensuring that we have those advertising basics locked down, the prep phase locked down.
Mm-hmm.
So before we dive into this, why don't you tell us briefly a little bit about how Facebook ads has helped you grow your business?
Facebook ads is awesome. Facebook ads are the best way, in my opinion, to generate leads and sales and anything in between when it comes to marketing, and especially digital marketing.
And has it helped with your business, like in particular, or like how did you get started with Facebook ads?
Oh yeah, I first got started just by watching trends of what was going on, and I just noticed that people were succeeding with Facebook advertising, right? So obviously had to jump on that bandwagon. But when it came down to was really, it's the best way for my business, just because one, I get to leverage for my products. I get to leverage it for really anything that I'm doing, like customer research, but I get to leverage it as well for my clients. So it's a win-win hybrid channel that you get to use across the board for everything.
So that case study that I brought up earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that's been your most successful campaign?
Yes.
And what made it so successful?
There's there's a lot of things that comes down to successful Facebook advertising that a lot of people struggle with. You can have great content, but if your customer research is off, then it's not going to work. If you have great customer research, but your content is, poor quality, it's not going to work. So you have to make sure that every little part of the puzzle basically is there, put it all together, and then just watch it. That's basically what you do. Just watch it win.
So why is researching your customers so important then?
So, well, given the fact that I'm the oldest of 8 kids, right? It's awesome. I love it. I love kids, but I had never had experience with childcare in the childcare industry, right? So what happened was I had no idea what the childcare industry wanted. I had no idea what parents wanted when it came to childcare centers. And so what I had to do is I actually had to go inside Facebook groups, and I basically ask a bunch of questions to different parents and childcare providers, figure out the biggest pain points that both parties were struggling with. Then all I did was put that on the landing page and on the Facebook ads.
And so how long does that take you? Is it something that you can just churn out quick, or do you spend hours doing?
Oh, that right there takes me about 2 weeks, give or take.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I do Facebook ads personally, I spend hours. Like in a day alone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long process, and having that research is super important. How do you simplify that?
Obviously practice. I come up with my own strategies of how to make things work better and faster and more efficient. So the best way that I do it, I have about 5 to 7 stages that it first starts with the customer. It always starts with your customer in mind, their problems, their questions, and then you go into the thing that you're going to offer them. And then after that, you go into the funnel. So you create the funnel, like the sales page and everything. Then you go to the ad, which includes the targeting, and then you see the results.
Back to the research. What are some steps that you take? Like, what do you ask them? Like, how do you just have this like dump of notes that you have, or like, how do you lay out your steps in researching?
So I call this the I'm confused method. So I go inside Facebook groups and I basically, whatever industry it is. So let's just say childcare, right? I actually go and I say, hey, niche, hey, industry. So, hey, parents, I'm a little confused on something, ... When it comes to blank industry, what are your biggest struggles with, what are the things that you struggle with the most? And then honestly, you will get 30 to 50 comments because people are genuinely wanting to help. And then at the end of that, I actually ask, if it's for a client, I'm doing some due diligence for a friend, so I'm asking a few questions.
Okay, cool. And then you just dump that into a document.
Yep, put it all in document, screenshot everything, and then I gather all of the trends, all of the things that are similar, and then I just use that for my landing pages, my copy, everything.
And so then you're able to just like pull that out so you can create some really good copy, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Awesome. And then how do you structure the copy?
That's a good question. It really depends on the answers that I get. It depends on what people are saying. I had no idea, for instance, that they're called childcare providers. I just thought they were called childcare owners. So I had to figure out the language that these people were using. And then I plugged it in. I plugged it in to make it seem a very attractive offer. Because Facebook advertising, it has to be very attractive to be able to drive leads and sales towards your offer.
So like essentially like a really good hook.
Yes, correct.
And so what would you say are elements of a good hook?
Obviously the copy. So it has, obviously like the pain points. So you have to figure out what the parents want the most. What's the number one thing? What is that parent actually looking for? For instance, as we're talking about, childcare, what are they looking for? And what is their number one problem that you find according to all of the responses that you've got? If you can give them that number one solution to their problem, they're already sold no matter what it is.
So then that solution could be like the hook in the ad, for example.
Yes.
That would be like the headline. Cool. So then kind of stepping back or forward a little bit, let's see, what does a successful Facebook ad strategy look like for you then?
So kind of like how I mentioned before, the Facebook ad strategy, a lot of people, they do things backwards. They try to actually make a product, then sell. But you need to how do I word this the best way? They try to make a product and then force it on people. But what you really need to do is find the market first and then test to see how the market reacts. And then basically you just ask them, hey, what do you want? What are you struggling with? They'll reply, and then you just give them what their answer is.
Okay, cool. And then so we have the research phase, and we have the copy. And so essentially now we have to go into targeting, right?
Yes.
And so what are some targeting strategies that have worked for you?
Split test audiences first. So don't go crazy creating all these like little images. Don't put your face here and then see if the picture works better with you smiling or whether you're, frowning or whatever. Like test first the audience. So for example, instead of creating one ad, instead of creating like one campaign, I actually went and I split tested, for those who are familiar with the terminology, I split tested 57 ad sets all at the same time. And I figured out which audience with each ad set worked best.
And then, so essentially don't get too caught up in like the perfect copy.
No, if you do, that doesn't work. You have to start and take baby steps, and then you can start doing the fine tuning later. So start with the audience, find out which audience is your winning audience, and then you can start, adding different copy. You can start split testing different images, videos, whatnot.
And so then once you split test the audience, that's kind of where you would start in terms of testing.
Yes.
On the ad level, and
Yep.
then you would then test the copy.
Yes.
Awesome. And so what about retargeting strategies that have worked for you?
Retargeting. So that is actually, I have a coaching call with a student of mine here in about 2 hours about retargeting. So it's kind of cool. But retargeting, you have to set up your pixel properly, and you have to create your custom audience before you do anything, right? So you set up your funnel, you grab your links, you put them as a custom audience, and whoever comes to that page, Facebook with the pixel will actually track who comes to that page. So then all of the hard work is already done. You just retarget them just as a custom audience when you're doing your targeting, and then you don't set up anything else. You just keep it open. The only thing you change on the ad set level is that custom campaign or the custom audience.
And so once we have the ad running, how can we confirm that it's actually working?
So once you have the ad, so your data would tell you how it's working and what is working the best. So if you've done everything properly, you've done your customer research, you've set up your freebie or your free offer according to the customer research, you set up your landing page according to the customer research, you set up your ad, and obviously you're figuring out who the industry is. After you've done all those things, then once you start all of the ads, you'll actually find out which audiences are converting at a cheaper price. So then you cut the bad prices, you eliminate those, and then you boost or scale the good converting audiences.
And so what would be the number one thing to have in place before launching ads? Is it the research itself, or are there other things that we need to take into consideration?
So your research, your freebie, your funnel have to be set up before you even start running the ads.
Cool. And then what do you think are the biggest pitfalls when it comes to advertising on Facebook?
I mean, patience. People give up too quickly. Not only that, but just either ignorance, meaning people just don't know how to actually do it. But one, just people are impatient, so they're not willing to actually keep trying or keep learning. And then, again, pitfall, just the lack of knowledge and the lack of understanding when it comes. Because when I've been chatting with a bunch of clients and potential clients, they've been talking about, oh yeah, I've used Facebook advertising before. I boost posts all the time. There's more to Facebook advertising than just boosting posts.
How do you take that research that you've done in the beginning and use that so that you can find good targeting strategies? So essentially what I'm asking is, how do you research targeting options?
Yes. So I will go inside forums just to spark my interest. Again, I will do the Facebook groups and just use like the search bar inside Facebook groups. But my main source is actually audience insights inside of the Facebook manager.
Audience insights. And so you just, that's been working for you? I audience insights all the time. I feel like I put in my variables and I always get like the audience isn't big enough, even though it is, but that's been working for you.
Yeah. So you basically, you want to be, it comes from a very creative standpoint. You have to know. So, okay, for instance, like I did struggle with that in the beginning. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. So it's not really about like what's like the audience, or if you look at the trends, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to word this so that it's very understandable. Audience insights basically gives you the data that Facebook has already collected, right? So once it gives you this data, you're then able to make appropriate decisions on who to target, or what age level. If you'll notice, a lot of your successes when it comes to targeting will actually be ages between 25 to about 35 or 45, give or take, because that's when people are actually starting to become aware of just things, their life in general. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sure.
Okay, good.
My next question actually is what do you think is more important, like the targeting or the copy or like the creative?
No, targeting's first. Always. Targeting is the most important thing. And then after you define your targeting, you define your perfect customer, then you actually get to use more of the psychological, okay, what do I have to do to actually get them to click more, to get them to sign up more, to get them to buy more? So that comes with the creative and the copy.
Okay, awesome. And then what have been your most costly mistakes?
Oh, my most costly mistakes. That's funny. So basically, do not start running ads until you know exactly what you're doing. You're going to spend, it is more worth your time and your effort to actually purchase a training first before you even start dabbling with Facebook, because you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get upset. You're going to get frustrated, and you're going to leave the situation thinking that Facebook ads do not work.
Why is that?
Again, people are impatient and they want to make $1 million within a week. And, that is, I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I'm saying is you have to be patient and you have to be willing to practice, and practice will only make more practice. It doesn't make perfect, but with more practice comes less practice. Then you'll get that perfect ad.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And with split testing, I know that you are pretty proficient in that in terms of you have a lot of experience with that. So I'd want to talk a little bit more about that, because that can be overwhelming, and how to split test. So then you have your campaign, which we wouldn't split test at campaign level. We split test audiences at the ad set level.
Yes.
And then so then you just do like one image and one copy. Just like one creative, or you do two creatives?
One creative, one copy starting out. And then later on, once you find that winning audience, then you add the extra stuff.
So when you confirm the targeting, do you duplicate the ad set or do you keep that same ad set and then change out the creative, or do you duplicate the ad set with a different creative?
So that, honestly, it depends every single time on what the goal is and what I'm actually trying to accomplish. But let's just put this into perspective. So I had a blogging campaign. I split test first. I made one campaign with one ad set with one ad. Okay, you follow? So I created that thing, and then I did the targeting. I did, I did the ad. I did just generic copy. I had a really cool client that was, had big results, so I was able to leverage her results to actually get good results. But anyway, after I had that set up, then I would duplicate the ad set, which would then duplicate the ad, right? So I did that 57 times. And beforehand, I actually researched blogging competitors. So people who are really into blogging. So for instance, Darren Rouse, that was actually the best converting audience. We were getting 60-cent leads within 24-hour period. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so then all I do is just duplicate that ad set, which duplicates the ads. And then I just go in, change the targeting, do it again, and then change the age and the gender.
And then at the ad level, when you're testing the ads, you just test one ad creative at a time, and then
Yep.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. And then what about, I know you have, like, in your freebie, for example, you're pretty much going into all the things that need to be in place before you run an ad. It's like this, here, do this first, do this first, do this first, and then you can launch. And that's the idea of the pre-launch profit.
Yes. Yep.
And so with the ad, once you have that ad and you have this confirmed winning ad, then how do you track that through the funnel? Or how can we take that further through the funnel?
So further through the funnel, meaning, what do you mean, like autoresponders or emails?
Correct. The actual sales funnel and the email. Like, how important here, how about I phrase it this way? How important has the funnel been for you in converting leads? Have you seen a clear difference in having that funnel in place and having an email in place that has helped you further leads?
Yes, Facebook ads is the last thing you should be doing. You need to have your funnel set up. I always try to add at least a one-time offer up front just to cancel out the ad spend, which also the one-time offer comes from a more in-depth learning from what we found out with the customer research, right? So the funnel has to be set up. You have to have at least 5 to 7 days worth of emails. I would even do like 14 to 30, just depending on what your goals are. But you need to have your email set up. You need to have the funnel set up. Do a one-time offer, because then you won't have to pay for ads ever again. You're going to get free leads on Facebook, and then your customer research obviously is the first thing you do.
So the self-liquidating offer, essentially?
Oh yeah, one-time offers, self-liquidating offers, tripwires, all that stuff. Have that set up so you'll never have to pay for Facebook ads again.
Cool. Yeah, I'm seeing that as a pattern a lot. Everybody's talking about this self-liquidating offer, and I've heard wonderful things about it.
Yes.
In terms of the targeting, how long do you wait to assess if an ad's working or not?
I'll know I will know within the first 24 hours whether to crank it up or cut it and start over.
And and that's by looking at the click-through rates?
Nope, I don't pay attention to click-through rates. I pay attention to leads and sales. So a lot of people, they focus on all these things, and they are good metrics. But honestly, if I'm getting $4 leads, honestly, it's depending on the industry too. But let's just say for blogging, if I was getting 60-cent leads for blogging, I know that is my target. That is my target all the time, and only to make it go lower from there. So if my target, maybe real estate, and I'm getting $3 leads, and that's the lowest I get, then that is what I'm going to shoot for and just continue to make it lower.
Okay, cool. And then to continue to make it lower, that's that's how you'll be testing the different audiences, or do you test different creatives? How do you make it go lower? Or what do you do to test that you can go lower?
Awesome, cool. So Facebook is very touchy. It's a very very, very sophisticated software, basically. And you don't ever want to do anything too fast. It's a very slow and gentle machine. So what you want to be doing is you want to allow it to work in your favor. And once Facebook knows who your audience is, over time, your cost per leads and cost per sales will actually go down, because Facebook is actually doing its best to place your ad in front of the right people.
And so, but to kind of dive back a little bit, let's just say there's a scenario. You have this ad and you found this ad that has a pretty good CPL, but you're like, I want to take this lower. And so taking into account what you just said about the audiences, are you going to keep that ad set and then test the creative? How do you know to either A, test the creative, or B, maybe test a new audience or tweak that existing audience?
I like that. So I like to start off basically with the campaign clicks to website, right? Just getting traffic. Once I get anywhere from 50 to 100 leads, by that time, Facebook has said, hey, so-and-so is going to be perfect for Tucker, right? So then I will actually do that, and I will change the objective to conversions. So that right there will automatically bring down, because Facebook's looking for email opt-ins or whatever you're going for. Then by that time, you should have anywhere from 50 to 100, even 200 leads, give or take. And then by that time, yes, now you get to test the image, and then you get to test the copy. Continue to test different audiences, because you might find that other winner. But that's why I do all of the split testing with the audiences up front, so I don't have to spend months figuring out what audience to do next.
And how do you figure out on the creative side the winning ad? What makes you decide? Are you still looking at the cost per lead and the sales?
Yes, always. Always cost per lead, always sales. Really, I'll set up something, and then I'll still I'll keep the audience the same, but then I'll split test the ad images or the ad video. So I'll keep the audience, but then I'll actually split test the audience, but then I'll change up the, the copy, the image, everything.
Sweet. Awesome. Tucker, thank you. That's been wonderful. We covered quite a bit of stuff here. And so I have one last question for you. What are you looking out for in the next year with Facebook advertising? Like what trends?
Okay, Facebook advertising, definitely the trend number one is that more and more people are actually going to be using it, not only big businesses, but also small businesses. So more and more people are going to be using it, which in my opinion, it's going to actually cost more just because if you just look at the trends, it used to cost so much when it first started, it's costing more now. And it's probably only going to be, a lot more later on just because of everyone using it. Also, I honestly just think Facebook is going to dial in so perfectly on your perfect audience, on your perfect customer, that, I'm just excited to see where this is actually going in regards to Facebook targeting, because I think it's one of the best systems out there.
Yeah, it is. And I've been seeing that too with businesses. It's kind of interesting because we've been on this platform for quite a bit, and now we're just hearing, I'm not saying that now all big businesses are turning to Facebook, but
right.
Now it's hitting mainstream. And I'm like, wow, that seems quite a bit late, in my opinion. And so, just now, barely in 2016, it was the TV spending or digital ad spending surpassed television ad spending.
Well, honestly, market trends and business progress faster than business owners. So honestly, it's just all these people who are just sitting there just like, I don't want to do that. And they basically refuse to do it. But if a certain business owner will not use it, their competitor will, period. So if you're not using it yesterday, it's your fault. So get on the bandwagon, start doing it now, save more money, and start tracking what's actually going on for your business.
Sweet. Awesome. Before we wrap this up, Tucker, is there anything essential you'd like to add to the interview?
Yeah, so I've actually created, again, like you said, it was that little cheat sheet. I just put together just everything that goes on in my mind when I'm setting up ads. It's so cool. But you can find it at prelaunchprofit.com/summit. And then you'll find my freebie, you'll find my checklist cheat sheet there.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So like I said, this has really given us the big picture of most of those pieces that we need to have in play here to even begin to understand Facebook ads. So thank you so much for all the information. And like Tucker said, if you want to connect with him further and you want to get more information from him, click the link below, download the link below, and he's offering the 7 proven steps to creating, running, and profiting through Facebook ads. And so it's a bird's eye view of a Facebook ad strategy plan, essentially. And he'll go into how to set up an attractive and flowing landing page to capture your ideal customers, how to do most of the work up front by telling your ideal customer you're confused, which is the research phase that we were talking about earlier. And then also some more hacks that he'll be showing you. So click below to download his free gift. And that's probably redundant. All right, Tucker.
It works.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching this and you've made it this far, I really appreciate you carving out the time to learn from us. And I will see you in the next interview.